Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's live stream. I hope everybody can see and hear me loud and clear. And today is a little different topic, a little different theme, because usually, if you're following me or watching my content, that's usually very business related, business strategy, technology, marketing, and all around that. And today we're talking about something a little different, where I have close to zero expertise. Today we talk a little bit more about, or generally speaking, about art, maybe a little bit about design, and maybe also a little bit about digital art, technology, and the intersection. Because on the one hand, I think everybody can agree that the internet over the last 10, 20 years really removed a lot of gatekeepers and a lot of hurdles for people to access the market, and in that case for artists to maybe get direct access to their clients, or be an independent artist. And therefore today we have a casual conversation about the current status quo of art, and maybe how it can be possible in 2022 and beyond to make a living or to be successful as an independent artist. And I have two guests today, two independent artists from Jamaica and from Switzerland, Romain Lewis from Jamaica and Viktoria Koestler from Switzerland, from Zurich, if I'm correctly, and Romain is in Kingston right now. So we have a very international panel today, and probably also international guests. So welcome, guys. First of all, thanks for taking the time and sharing your experience and your thoughts. And maybe I think ladies first. Maybe Viktoria, you can give a little introduction. What are you doing? What is your type of art? And we just go from there.
Thank you, Simon, for your quick introduction. So I'm Viktoria. I have been working as an artist for the last 6 years. I'm based in Zurich, Switzerland, and I would like to share my experiences about how I built my artist brand, how I built up a community that is eager to learn about my art and wants to buy my art, and how it was able to build a couple of revenue streams to support my life as an artist.
Yeah, I think in Germany we have the saying brotlose Kunst, which roughly translates to breadless art, if you want to say, meaning, often if someone says I'm an artist, that kind of implies that there's not much money to be made into there. So I think our audience, or it's very helpful for, I think, a lot of artists out there to hear from you guys' experience. Romain, you want to go on and share a little bit about you or your current status quo?
Sure, no problem. Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's certainly a pleasure. I don't think I've actually gotten to be a part of a conversation with another artist and on a panel, on a forum, to speak to how I have done certain things. For me, my journey is like half of Victoria's. It started about 3 years ago. So I did have a passion for from high school, but never pursued it. And then I started drawing on some like literal receipts, and that turned into something profitable. I had a few persons show interest, and then I moved on to doing ink on paper, and then where I'm now doing digital and some acrylic painting. So it has been a very interesting 3 or so years. Yeah. So I am looking forward to where the space can go, especially as a digital artist, with the emergence of NFTs and just, I think, more acceptance for art here in Jamaica. I think the market is recognizing the talent here, and companies and individuals are putting support behind the artist. So I'm happy to see that happening.
So what I'm interested in, maybe you can share, or both of you can share, what in your experience are, let's say, classical ways to to monetize your art, because I think there is a classical way, maybe that's different in Europe or in Switzerland than in Jamaica, and then maybe as you mentioned, we can talk a little bit about maybe the future with NFTs and other digital technologies. So what are the classical ways? If I say, okay, I think I can paint and I think I'm good and I think people could enjoy that, how could I make money out of that today if I'm not digitally firm in any way?
So as I am a painter, you do have a physical product, and it comes in different ways. Like you have your original piece, maybe you have prints of the original piece. So there's a lot of ways how you can have a product, but I think it's not that much about the product. It is about the community, and it won't change even everything goes more into the digital space. It depends on having a community and a brand. So all these things are non-tangible and important. If it's physical or if it's digital, it's all about having a community. And so even though it's easy to enter the world of I can put out my products and I can market everything, and it sounds so easy in a digital world. It depends on your community, and if you don't have a community, or if you don't want to put in the effort and the time to build up this community, you won't have any success in the market, and this won't change in the next years as well. And it's not just like if you have a painting, you put it out there, if no one sees it and if you have no reach, no one buys it. And it's the same for NFTs as well. If you don't have a story behind your NFTs, if you don't have someone that supports your vision, nothing is going to happen. And this is a true fact. And so many people forget that entering the space. They just think, oh, it's so easy. I just create something. And if it's physical or non-tangible, and I put it out there and everyone can do it, and it's easy. It's not. It takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of time to interact with the people. And it's all about the people. And if you're not skilled in all these things, you won't have any success. So, but I wanted to ask Romain, what's your experience on that?
My experience is very similar to yours. It's about the community. It's about storytelling. It's about having persons understand who you are. And so it is very important to know who you're communicating with. I have said to other artists that it's not just about putting out your work and how you feel. If you want to do it, then try to have a conversation. Try to see how your audience is. If you have intention of selling it, then do as you please. But the marketing element is very important if you're trying to grow as a business person. There's the talent, and then there's the marketing. And a lot of persons, artists, overlook the marketing. Similar to Victoria, there's a lot of traditional work, if you will. We haven't fully embraced the digital art. Not even talking NFTs. Digital art as a decorative piece at home. We're still very much into acrylics and sculptures and oil painting. So those are the main pieces that will sell. However, we're seeing more digital artists put themselves out there. What I do is I create a piece. I use Procreate if anyone is curious.
Yeah.
So I will have it transferred onto Canvas. Depending on the piece, I may limit it to 1 through 5 if it's something a little bit more exclusive, or I may have it generally. If I am limiting a piece, then it will come with a signed certificate of authenticity, dated, reference number, and the image on there, so that transparency and validity, because I can't say something is limited and then have things to support that. So a lot of persons, when they think digital art, they just assume that it's something mass produced or something very commercial. That's more of graphic design kind of thing, because you can do pieces that look like painting on Procreate or whichever program you prefer. It's just communicating with your audience and ensuring that they understand who you are and what they're doing. And I think that's the key thing, ensuring persons understand what you're presenting to them.
Can you describe a bit your audience?
My audience is very mixed, very blended. So I actually have 2 pages on Instagram. I have a dedicated art page, and I have a personal page. Interestingly, a lot more happens on the personal page. I think because they get to see more of the person behind it instead of just periodic posting of work. It's more engaging. So my audience, I do mainly conceptual art. I'm not good at portraits and anything like that. So I look forward to concepts because it's like storytelling. And so I will grab and pull from different elements, and I think my audience is a reflection of that. So there will be a piece where one person might like it, and then no one else ever pays it any mind. And then something else where everyone is applauding, and that one person is like, why would I ever want that? So it is all over, but through interactions and through feedback, I have gotten to really understand who they are. And that does help with marketing. It does help to say, okay, if I'm making a piece, I can remember the 20 persons that positive feedback on this concept, and see if I can engage them in another way. It's like if you're putting out music, what song was popular? What song were they singing over and over and over? And you use that feedback. So I don't know if that's a good way to bring that though.
Yeah, that's a true fact that you sell through your person. So it's not that much about the product, and it's not about that someone likes the design, the painting. It's about the storytelling. It's about people need to like you, that they want to buy something, and it takes time. People want to get to know you better before they buy something, especially if it's higher priced. So it's not like you buy instantly something and you see an ad on Instagram and it's something like, for women, it's like buying fake lashes and stuff like that for $15 from China. And this is, an instant reaction. You buy something, and for art, it completely works differently. So you need to have a personal brand. And oftentimes people think it's like being a crazy artist with a crappy story. And, it's like you need to share all your bad experiences in life and stuff like that. And I think it's not like that. It's you need to have a story, and everyone has a story. You need to be relatable. You need to talk to your audience with emotion, and if you have a signature style, it makes it even more easier for people to relate and to envision how your piece looks in their home and how the piece can enrich their own lives. And so that's basically the secret, but this is a secret that takes time and effort, and you need to be open to talk to people, and it's time consuming to interact with people. And I think in the past I made the mistake that I talked to too many people, and after a couple of years where I built up my collector space more, I want to connect to people that I really like, and they like me, they have the same values, they have the same energy, and I don't want to market to everyone that has the money to buy something. It should be the same type of personality, or the openness to share things and common values. This is what I want to do throughout the next years.
Definitely. And adding to what you said, you talk to a lot of persons, you will get a lot of suggestions, and you'll get the DMs, you'll get the saying, why don't you do this and this and this? And it's like, you have to know in yourself you want to express, because it is so easy to get lost in a particular style. And with social media, you have pros and cons, because you'll go online and see work getting a lot of attention, and an artist is always booked and busy, and everything you sell is like, should I try that? Not necessarily, I'm not seeing you guys. Okay, Simon, I disappeared for a second.
It's your show now.
Right. Okay.
Just trying something. All good.
Okay. Right. So it's important to understand your language and your brand. I go by the Friendly Alien. I don't have my logo or anything here, but it's like a and a lot of what I do is in keeping with being different and selling thoughts and ideas. But you can really get lost on social media with trying to find a style, or that you have to just do one thing to build an audience on it. I know a few artists who don't try something new because their core audience is used to one thing, but you're growing an individual. The way that you express yourself will change over time, and maybe you want a different medium or just a look to reflect where you are now. Or you could just be expressing, and that's valid. I think documentation helps as well. I think a lot of my journey and connection with my audience is because I document what I do. So from the works that are absolutely atrocious, I can barely say that word, atrocious and should have never been made, I will still post them. I will post if I get new tools like my pens. I will post whatever I'm trying or thinking. And persons understand that I'm not trying to sell them everything I put out. Know when this is something that I am offering to you versus saying participate in my experimentation. So communication with them, having the resolve in yourself, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to stick with it even if I don't get that initial love from the community. Let them grow with you.
Yeah. I think, it's like the selling part and the community part. You get to know a lot of people, and you share experiences, and you learn a lot from these people. But it's like, if you want to make a living from your art, it's good to have boundaries, and to know when it's time to ask for the sale, or something like it's like, you support my art business by buying something. It's not like I'm an inspiration giver and I give and give and give, and I don't want anything back. So it's like community and participation, but it's about the sales as well. And I think it's like a lot of artists, they're afraid that in the end it's about the sale. So we need to live from something. And yes, it's nice that people come to your studio and or they contact you. I want to buy something in the very first email, but this rarely happens. So you need to have conversations, you need to share things and all these things. But in the end, time is limited. And it's like you want to, sometimes you cannot talk for hours and months and years with people that never intend, they never have the intention in their mind to buy something. So it's like, you know, having the balance of meeting people and having exhibitions and all these things. But everything, most of the time, you pay out of your own pocket. It's an investment, and after a while, you want to get something back. And so it's not like, and it's difficult to have that balance between like, oh, it's about community and inspiration, and I want to give something to the world. I produce something beautiful. I want to make the world even better. But I have to sell sometimes.
I want to ask you though, Victoria, which one do you lean towards, if any? Commissions or just doing your own projects and putting those out? So customer commissions or doing your own projects? Which one do you kind of prefer, if any?
Actually, it's my originals, because I can plan that better. But sometimes I have pieces and they're sold out and people want to have a similar piece. Then I offer them ordering a commission, so that's possible as well. But to be honest, I'm not a fan of commission, because it depends how the people are and how open the people are. You know, you can have millions of pictures and images in your mind, and if you talk about something that's not visible at the moment because you plan a painting for a client, and he or she talks about his vision, it can completely different to your vision. And so it's hard to satisfy people. There are people, they are totally open, and they know they like your style, and they tell you, oh, I like these colors and I like this style. But I want to be open to create something that's new and exciting. And with a commission, you have something like, it's a frame and it's a box, and you cannot be that creative. And because the person paid you up front, you have the pressure that it should be a success. And so that's the reason why I'm not a fan of commissions. But it's like, there are people that are totally open and they trust you, and people, they have something in their minds. And then I would say, okay, that's not for me. And I would rather tell them, no, it's not about the money. I cannot satisfy you. You need to go to someone else that is, you know, an artist that is specialized in commissions. What are your experiences?
My experiences are similar. So I do take commissions, and previously I took way more than I did right now because I was trying to grow. I wasn't making much money from it. I'm like, all right, I am going to take on a series of commissions and try to get more supplies and build it up. As I go along, I get more out of it personally by experimenting and doing my own projects, because it's off as kind of therapy for me. That's what art started as. Somebody asked me something to use as a medium of expression. I didn't necessarily start out, well, I started out any at all with a business venture in mind. It kind of just went that direction over time. But I don't want to lose the element of it being something that brings me peace and it being my voice. And if it goes solely commission, after a while you aren't expressing your story and your ideas as much anymore. I guess if you're doing like portraits, then that's probably going. Yeah, but again, for persons like us who don't necessarily do portraits, it's more staying with an idea, and you might get halfway through and then want to go a completely different direction. If it's a commission, you can't necessarily do that, and as you say, if you've already gotten paid, you feel kind of restricted and pressured, and there's a time constraint. And I have a job outside of doing art, and so I have to be very careful with how I allocate time because with my job, it could be that then for the next 3 days I can't create anything, but here I have a client waiting on me, so that can be problematic. So I have to turn down a lot of commissions, maybe because of the subject matter, the style, or time. As you said, the time is very limited, so we have to have persons appreciate that as artists, it takes time. We want to be compensated for that time, and we want the time to be respected. You know, it is a very personal thing to sit with a blank canvas and kind of just let your soul go off onto it. It's work. Work. I don't know if a lot of persons understand that it is work, but you know, it is. I suppose it comes with the journey. You know, not everyone will have that deep appreciation for what you do, but when you do meet those persons that get it, it's a special moment when you see that appreciation from someone, and they show that appreciation by purchasing, and now you know that this part of your journey is now a part of their journey. It's something you can talk about and you can reference. It's a really good feeling. It is a really good feeling.
I think it's the dream of a lot of artists that they can create their work without working for a target market, without working for galleries, for clients, and money comes in. And so I think this is the reason why there is such a hype around, you know, all the digital things and NFTs as well, because it's like a way for artists that, oh, I can do something once and then I can earn royalties from it. And if someone sells it, I set up royalties for every sale. I can earn money for lifetime, literally like that. And I think it's like, you know, all these passive income streams and all these, oh, it's a secret and everyone wants to do it, and it's hard work, and I don't think something like that even exists, that something goes completely passively. So it's like you need to do, it's not about the product, it's about the brand, and it takes you years until you found your style, you found your voice, how to talk to people, how is your interaction through social media, what's your style. And it's not about the art you create, it's about how you interact the people. It's a branding thing as well. And at the beginning, I think it takes you maybe 3 to 5 years, maybe 10 years, that you develop a certain style and you find the right people that really appreciate what you do. And it can be that after a couple of years, you change that. And it's like all these marketing gurus out there, they tell you, you just need to find the right target market and then market to these people, and then everything goes well and stuff like that. But for me, at the beginning, you need to, it's like, and then some people, they have, oh, I have high-priced art. I need to find millionaires. I need to find collectors. I need to find these people. And they don't think about the fact that in their friend circle, or maybe the circles they are in, they don't have any touch points. And then it's like, it depends at the beginning, it depends on your friends, family, co-workers circle, what target market you need to choose, because these people are your first touch points. These people are the first people that are willing to buy your work. And to imagine what can be if I have a network of 100 millionaires buying art and collectors, this is a wrong approach, because how can you get in touch with these millionaires? It's not like, oh, I send them an email or I find them on social media. No, it's not how it works. And this is what so many people forget about it, or no one tells them that it really depends on your community you already have, and then from there you can expand and you can find other circles and other communities. But at the beginning, it really depends what you already have.
Yes, and I agree. Personal referrals network will always be more valuable than running an ad. To run ads at times on my social media. So if I have a particular piece, I may run an ad marketing that piece, or I just have a general ad that funnels persons to my page. I have my website set up. It's not a proper website yet. It's more of a mini gallery to show what is available, the sizes that are available, and the prices. So instead of persons trying to dig through my social media, they have the landing page. As far as NFTs, again, that's our community. And I think what a lot of persons aren't understanding about NFTs, the ones that will stick around and that will go rapidly, they have utility. It's like a membership card. Yeah, it might be represented with a pay for a dog or whatever, but 2 or 3 things will drive it. It may be something that someone can quickly flip for revenue, in which case they don't care about the art, whatever, it's just the money. The second thing would be, again, like it's a club. If you have this NFT, then you get a discount, you get private access, you get membership. It's like you have a Discord server or Patreon. Some persons use Patreon. I see a lot of artists making use of Patreon where they do tutorials. And that's another revenue stream for them. We have members of their network or community sign up and they pay the subscription and they get access. With NFTs, I've listed a few. I haven't sold any yet. Crypto isn't big in Jamaica at all. No, the vast majority, 99%, 90-something% Jamaica isn't invested like that. And if they aren't necessarily using what they have to buy NFTs. And so I have sold pieces internationally, but the bulk of my audience is still here. So one of the things I'm trying to do here is to see if I can expand a bit more, not necessarily for the purpose of NFTs, but on a whole, try to enter new markets. And, you know, actually, yeah, the community essentially. And try not to have it limited.
The ads, did they work for you? Because this
What do
is
you
a
mean?
myth as well, that people, they think, oh, I buy some ads on Facebook or Instagram,
Okay,
and
the
then
ads.
magically
Okay.
I sell something. And it's most of the time it's not the case. So I was asking you if the ads
Hit and miss.
worked for you.
It's hit and miss. I have had successful ads, and the analytics really help to tell you how many persons clicked, started a conversation, went to the website, and so on. So I try to keep abreast of my numbers. But I have had a successful ads because what some persons have done, they will forward the post to me, request to inquire about it, and I have closed a few sales persons doing that. Or persons will say, hey, I saw your ad running. I get an email or call or WhatsApp. So it has worked out. I wouldn't say that the majority of ads produce sales. No.
Okay, it sounds like ads, they produce more interactions and more conversations, and you still need to do the work. It's not like click there and buy something, and then it's done.
It's not e-commerce.
Yeah. So and this is the big difference. I think the ads are a starter for more conversations, and they can open up opportunities. But it's not necessarily that it leads to automatic sales. Yeah, this is the secret.
Rarely. It has happened a few times, but no, the majority of times it's questions and conversation. And some people will come back weeks or even months later to actually get the fee. Sometimes I'm surprised. I didn't even remember we had a conversation. It's been so long, but I'm happy they came back.
Let me ask you one question because the kind of revolving theme from you guys is kind of that the marketing side or the community building part, or however you want to, or branding, however label you want to put at it at the end of the day, is super important. And I think it's also an important, or kind of plays out what we're seeing in the NFT space. Meaning, let me ask you, what do you think, is at the end of the day more important? Meaning, on the one hand, let's call it skill and craftsmanship, because I think that was something that I always appreciated about art, meaning the skill and of the artist and the craftsmanship behind it, compared to I don't know, modern art or whatever, where people put bananas with duct tape at the wall and say that's art. That's something where I don't know, I'm not smart enough to understand the deeper meaning behind it. So what I want to say with that is, what is at the end of the day more important for an artist? Should I, as you mentioned earlier, time is the bottleneck for all of us. Should you put more time in improving your skills, working on your art, on your craft, so to speak? Or is it more important to say, no, I need to put also time in my marketing, in my branding, in my business side of things, in my building a client base, and so on? Because that's also what, from my ignorant point of view, is happening a little bit in the NFT space. We have things like CryptoPunks and Gorillas, which from a craft or skill perspective is 0 to none. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's literally just a random generator, and then you create 10,000 NFTs and make a collection out of it, and all look a little bit different. And because it's limited, and you now have that scarcity thing that always plays a big role in art, now people are paying hundreds of thousands or millions for JPEG, or not really the JPEG itself, but the recipe that they paid a lot of money for the JPEG, because at the end of the day, all these NFTs, I think you can download them completely from a Google Drive. It's, I think, 3 terabytes of data where you can actually download all the things. So I think that's a good example where we see, okay, is there really much skill or use or craftsmanship behind these kind of digital art, or is it
A lot
more
of
okay?
those,
I can make a quick buck on the other hand.
Those are more marketing efforts. They spend a lot of money building networks. So a lot of the NFTs that are really popular have nothing to do with whatsoever. It's a business. It's networking. That's literally what they're trying to do, and that's all. And then the image is more of a status symbol than like a brand logo. So you will go on Twitter and you'll see a lot of persons change their profile pictures to whichever NFT they purchase or the most expensive of a collection. You'll see persons showing it in music videos, persons printing it on shoes. It's the new super exclusive status symbol. But there are the artists right now, like the traditional artists, are not getting as much attention in this, but some are doing really well. Some persons, what they've done, and what I'm considering to do with these, is to, if you purchase the NFT, you get access to the print or a canvas or something like that. I will package the NFT with a physical product. And that stemmed from an interview that I watched with an artist who has done that. And he's done fairly well with it. So the NFT gets you access to exclusive pieces from him. But before you get to that point, there has to be a demand for persons to even care that much. So it all goes back to branding the community, especially for NFTs, because just purchasing a digital image from me, if it's not like for your company or logo or whatever, just buying the NFT, you won't have to for it if we're being honest. And if I'm not an in-demand artist, you can't flip it. You just spent money on something that has no utility. And later on, I think we'll see more NFT galleries. They're popping up, virtual art shows, virtual reality is coming, and I think persons are putting out screens. I keep putting my hand at the wrong place. Putting out screens that can actually display your NFT. So I think we will get to a point where there will be more utility and more use cases. And there are a lot of use cases for NFTs. Art is just probably the most popular one right now. Eventually, things like contracts, deeds, leases, you could potentially use it for that. Album releases, music, all of that. But the space is still very new and still in a bubble. There are a lot of people making money, but even people losing money. But the people that are losing the money don't like to highlight that they're losing the money. And so you see the big headlines. They're the minority. The big headlines of the $1 million flips, they are the minority. And even some of those are marketing efforts. It's people that know each other and they know if that they sell it to each other, they make the headlines and they get profit later on. So, you can't be too caught up in the hype because it is literally hype. And the majority of those projects will fall flat. And they tell it themselves, if you follow persons who are active in this space, they're like, hey, if you're here to try something, try it. Know that you may just lose your money, and in a couple of years, would have moved on to something else. Especially if there's no utility and it's not like actual art. Persons didn't buy it because this inspired them and it connected with them on an emotional level, or intellectual level, spiritual level, whatever the case may be. There wasn't that. It was just hype. But there's a lot coming and a lot happening. I think as artists, what we do is, again, just remember what we're in it for, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to create and share. The markets will flip, different technologies will come along, but who are you as an artist and what are you trying to say? Keep that art integrity and don't just try to chase the crowd. Will come back. Everything calms down, and if you are solid and if you have good work and have a good line of communication, then you should be fine. We hope. Yeah.
So do I understand you correctly that besides the fact that, as you say, I think in the NFT space there are a lot of, well, not to call them grifters, but people that are out to make a quick buck, which would kind of reinforce the statement that probably both of you guys said, which shows just how important it is to have an audience, to build a brand and not be distracted by the daily news or the hottest trends today and whatnot. Yeah, and I would agree definitely to the point that it's important to build that audience, to put the marketing efforts. For me, it's just a question. Yeah, again, or I get a little sad when I see very talented artists from a skill level not getting the attention or the monetary value at the end of the day for the art because they are not so good maybe at the
Not
marketing
popular
or
on
at the
social
sales
media.
part.
Yeah.
I wanted to add something to this. Because sometimes you see a pixel art and you you think it's simple and it's just one piece out of a huge portfolio of an artist.
Yeah.
And check out Beeple's portfolio. He is a highly skilled artist, and
He is.
he does this for years,
Put in the
many
work.
years,
Yep.
and his work is amazing, and it's highly skilled. And sometimes people just see one piece, a fraction of the artist does and has done, and so it's just like a lot of abstract artists before they became famous with one brush stroke on a canvas and it's selling for millions or stuff like that. They check out their portfolios, and before they did hyper-realistic paintings, they did great installation work, they did so many other things, and they are highly creative, they are highly skilled, and sometimes you just see one piece of art and you think, oh, that's so easy, I could do that. And actually it is a process, it is a story behind it, and it's an artist brand, and he or she built that up through all the other things he or she put out on the market. And most of the time you just see a fraction of an artist's work, and I think this is very important to know.
I learned that
Oh, sorry,
lesson.
go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, I was just saying I learned that lesson with painting because I was doing ink on paper, then moved to digital, and then started trying acrylics, and it is a task, and especially for something if you're going from digital first to acrylic, some of the processes are flipped. So some shadows are not easy to do for some things to get that gradient. So I would say to persons, before you critique an artist's style, check for yourself. Go get some art supplies and see if you can actually do what they do with the efficiency that they do it. The majority of times, no. No. So it's really easy to look at someone's work and say, oh, that's simple, or you could do it. Not necessarily. And you didn't. Even let's say you could. You didn't. Why do you feel the need to try to invalidate what they've done? If you appreciate it, you appreciate it. If you don't, you don't. But some things I do question in the art world, let's be honest. The banana taped to the wall. I don't know. Just like you, I don't know. I've seen invisible sculptures being sold. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I think that's definitely true. But as you say, sometimes,
Yeah.
People are different. But what do you think? I mean, both of you guys are more like or produce a lot of tangible arts, meaning paintings on Canva, something that you literally can put in your office, put in your home, and so on. I don't really see the use case for digital art as yet. I mean, of course, besides the fact that we have design and graphic design and all this stuff in a digital world basically all the time. But yeah, from an artistic and maybe abstract point of view, we don't really, I don't know, pay hundreds or thousands of dollars to have a nice wallpaper background on my desktop or things like that.
We're not there yet.
Maybe that is going to change with NFTs, but where do you guys see the trends? Do you say, hey, the next decades people will still buy and use and value tangible art, or is it really that you think every artist should have a kind of a digital strategy or plan, or at least think about it, because that's where the future trends are moving to?
I think it's both. Yeah, you want to start, Romain?
No.
Okay.
That's fine.
I think it's both. We still are humans and we live from personal connections, and we want to touch things. We want to meet people in person. And but I think with the upcoming, metaverse, and that you can buy digital space and all these things, for sure it will change everything completely in some way, and we don't know exactly what's going to happen and how we humans can interact with that, and how satisfying this will be if it's just digital, and what tools and devices will help us to get a real experience, that it can evoke real feelings. So I think it is a super new and super exciting thing. But I still do. I think that, we're humans and we cannot totally disconnect from all these physical things, and we still need a place to live. We want to fill our homes and office spaces with something we like, and oftentimes I think it's good if you don't look at screens all the time, and you just want to have something to relax and something that's standing still, and you can train your brain to come up with own imaginations, with own images. And I think if you just rely on the digital world and to get input and to get imagination, it's really bad for our health. But it will have good sides and bad sides as well. But I do think that, for example, NFTs are here to stay for sure. And a lot of artists will find their place in this field. But it really depends how collectors can share their collections with other people, or will people have a screen in their homes and they showcase their collections to other people, and so on. Is there something like a hype that people really want to show their digital collections or something like that? And we don't see that yet, but maybe in a couple of years.
I agree. I think we're still a several number of years away from mainstream adoption, to where someone would opt to buy a screen to put in their home or office just to display an NFT. Can be very costly, because thinking now to get the screen itself is probably going to electricity, and then you're going to have to get the NFT. So mainstream wide adoption will, I think that's some from now, but I agree they are here to stay. I think what we'll see first is the NFT galleries coming out, and persons may be doing like virtual reality to give persons exposure to it. But that personal adoption, we are some ways from that. But with painting, acrylics, oil, and so on, there is something about it. The texture, it's different, and this is coming from someone who was both, and I'm not even that good at acrylics. There are some things you can't replicate digitally. It's not the same experience. It's a different experience, and it's interesting. But a well done piece of art is a very special thing. When you sit in front of it, immerse yourself into it, and you see the grain, you see the texture, you can see the brushstrokes, you can see where the artist maybe change their mind. You go on an adventure, you go on a journey. You see how it interacts with different lighting. You move it around your home, and you see what happens with that. I think both will exist. I don't think not regular, but traditional art then is going in. So it's a case of how persons will choose to use the new technology. For some, nothing will ever replace authentic painting on the wall. And as Victoria said, the screens. We are exposure to screens at the moment. They are necessary evil in some cases, but you don't want to just be staring at screens and bright light all the time. And I think with the pandemic right now, a lot of persons working from home, their screen time has increased. They're on the phone, the tablet, the TV all day, and I've heard more and more persons complaining about the eyes, their posture, and so on. So, we have to be cautious about how much screen time in and be mindful of our health, and just compromise our health for whatever new piece of technology comes out, Yeah.
So can you maybe share just a practical, let's call it strategy or your approach? I think you shared a little bit in the beginning, but how would you approach it then from a, let's say, marketing perspective and strategy? Let's say I think I can, I don't know, paint something or sketch something or whatnot. Again, as you said, Romain, I think, and that's also how I kind of experienced it from the sidelines. I think you just shared the stuff that you made and then how you learned and then how you grow and how you changed your styles over time. And I think that's how you built your audience and your following. Should I have a website? Should I have it intentionally? What would be your, or what was your strategy, and what was maybe things that you would say looking back, maybe I wouldn't do that today, or maybe I would start different, because I think both of you coming from a little different starting points, and it's probably very interesting to see what worked in the past and what didn't.
So there is intent and strategy, even if on the surface you don't necessarily see it, because some things are just for you, the business. So I do my job is essentially marketing. So there is always intent. There is always a strategy to some degree with what I'm doing. Since I decided to actually make it business, if you're going to provide a service, then try to provide it properly, or don't, So try to have your site. So if you are putting out a lot of content like I do, I will just throw out random things. For some persons, it's kind of scheduled or often, but I will throw experimental pieces, everything, so it can be cluttered. A website can be in that regard. Try to have your process aligned, like what are the options available, the turnaround time, have documentation ready in terms of like your receipts or an invoice. If you're doing proposals, try to have the templates done ahead of time, because all of that really, helps with time. Have your process from start to finish figured out, delivery and so on. Know how far you are willing to go in terms of commission. Explain to persons ahead of time that if you require a certain number of pieces, then it may cost you X. Let's say the first 3 revisions are free. After that, I will have to charge. Just have the business element down. What percentage deposit do they need? Is it full upfront? Is it partial? All of that ironed out on the business end. On the marketing And I don't think we can add at this point, depending on your situation, depending on the community that you have and the connections. If you are starting from, let's say, ground, you're not in the art community. I'm not trained in art. I didn't go to art school, so I'm not coming from that community. I didn't have a network of artists to, essentially get my name there. It's just putting stuff on IG, and at first it was hoping for the best. Then I learned how to use targeted ads to make myself a little bit more visible. What I've done as well is to highlight my customers. I will post someone with the piece. I encourage them to send me content of the piece in the home, because I will finish a piece. I don't have that many places I can take a picture of it to show you. So when someone sends me the image of it in a space, I'll try to use that image. So that's something I learned when I was manufacturing clothes at a point, producing gym wear and so on. And I realized that it really helps the community when persons see each other, community members start engaging, community members build relationships. If persons don't communicate, you don't necessarily have a community, you have an audience. And there is a difference. The community, independent of you, will engage each other, they look out for each other, they send each other things, and you build that up. If it's just everyone isolated, and it's a little bit more tricky. But in terms of the branding, you kind of have to define who you are. And then in some of my content is entertaining. Some of it is personal, some of it is just getting persons to feel good after a long day. But that's what works for me. I've seen other artists where there's almost no element of their personal life on their page at all. Not in the story, not in anything else. It's all just work. But they produce so much, and they're always at it at such a standard that you want to see what they're doing. It doesn't matter if they're putting a person or not. They document. Some persons have YouTube channels. I have no talent where that is concerned, so I don't trouble YouTube. But if you feel that you're good in front of a camera, make use of it. Video. I used to video my drawing, just my hands though, because nobody needs to see all of that, right? So I would just have the mount set up there, and I would post sketches. I would do like time-lapse drawings to see what can I draw in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, and I would post those videos. I've had reaction videos to persons seeing a piece of my work for the first time. And then I might run an ad with that video if it does well, if it proves that it can engage and entertain. And so it's a mix of different things, and it's experimentation. Some persons want to do all of that and they won't have to. Other persons, it may just be what you may have to entertain along with producing your art. And a lot of the artists I personally on Instagram and YouTube, they entertain. Like, they're extremely talented, but they find a way to what do you call it? Present their content that makes you want to tune into them every day. So, that's something a little bit more personal. I don't think there's a standard way of going about marketing art. You kind of have to develop it and, choose how you want your story presented, and just keep building onto the story. Yeah.
Cool. That was a lot and very practical and helpful. I think a few nuggets for the audience here, definitely. Anything to add from your side or from your experience, Viktoria?
Yes, I want to add 2 or 3 nuggets as well, but in a short way. But Romain, this was very insightful. So my practical step, if I'm starting out tomorrow and I'm a beginner, I would decide for one style, put it out there, get some feedback on your work. And before you decide to quit your job, make sure that you're really skilled in sales. Most people stop. They know it's important to do a lot of marketing, and then it's done. No, it's about the sales. And if someone reaches out to you, I'm interested in this piece, and you don't know how to convert the lead into a buyer, you can forget about it, because it's not about the marketing, it's about the selling skills. And most people do forget that, and most consultants out there, they forget about that as well, because it's one of the hardest parts. It can be that you need to hop on a call with the person and try to positively convince him to buy something, and this scares a lot of artists away. And this is my golden nugget. It is about improving your sales skills before you decide quitting your job.
Yeah, definitely. But what would be, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I would put out the statement that creative people probably more than the average human are even more averse against selling and yeah, putting her or himself out there. So do you have any tips how you approach it to kind of, I don't know, overcome that, or don't even get into the situation that it feels we are in a sales situation, but just yeah, more comfortable? Any tricks that you can share here?
I think a lot of artists and creatives, not just artists, a lot of creatives feel guilt about selling their art, and I can relate. I've been there when I draw something and somebody said the price, and there's just this fluttering feeling like I don't want to tell them, get over it. You know the work, the work that you put in, time, the years of experience. Um, let's say you manage to produce a piece in half an hour, and then you want to sell that for a price that someone considered high. It's years to be able to produce that piece in half an hour. You weren't producing that piece on day one. That, you know, that level of efficiency and quality. So don't feel guilty about for compensation. But I will say though, understand where you are in the market, because you can price yourself out as well as you can underprice. So that's something that you kind of test and experiment, and be honest and upfront. Your price, this is your price. And, you know, don't try to convince everyone why you're priced where you are. A lot of artists get caught up in trying to convince the audience to the T why it's X amount. Like, it's my price. So are you are still appreciative of what I've created? You can afford it, sure, but I know what I've done to get here, and it is justifiable. It's not a grift, a trick, it's not a quick flip. This is me, the artist, and this is what I think my value is. So be realistic, be upfront, and be comfortable selling. As Viktoria said, selling is extremely important. You can't shy away from it, because when you need to go get supplies, they won't shy away from charging you for those supplies. You're going to have to pay for those. So, and it is just business. It is business. A lot of persons don't look at art as business. I think, persons feel like art should be free. You, the artist, should just do it and ready for us to consume and to entertain us. No, we can't do that. We have our own goals and things that we need to get done. We have bills to pay. And our art is very physically demanding. You back. I feel about my neck after long sessions of joy. After all of the discomfort I feel, no, I'm not dropping my price. So just be confident and comfortable charging what you think you deserve to get. And that's in all aspects of life. Yeah.
I think the trick is just know that it's a true fact. If you don't ask for the sale, you lose time and you won't make the sale. So if you have that in your head, and if you talk to person and you make a bold statement that you're here for inspiration and for selling, and just wait for the reaction. And yes, it could be that the reaction is, oh, I just wanted to visit a real artist studio, and I just want to look around. No, I don't buy something. Yeah, it feels like, yes, something like you don't get a good feeling then, because you were put in the situation of the artists, the artists that just wanted to sell something, but just feel what kind of emotions come up, and then think about, why do these emotions come up? Is it because of the society, your own belief system that you're not worthy enough to make money for what doing what you love and stuff like that? And I think this is just a learning process.
True, true. If some persons will just want to have a conversation with your art because it evokes some feeling, they aren't necessarily trying to purchase it. So don't jump the gun trying to sell someone something if they didn't necessarily express interest. You can have the conversation, allow them to share how you made them feel, and then you ask if they're interested in it again. Don't just hit them with a price as soon as the conversation starts. Yeah. Yeah.
What would you say, how, let's call it dependent, or how important maybe are, let's call it third-party services? And what I mean by that, that could be an art gallery or a website or anything like that. Because what I'm hearing is that at the end of the day, the sale happens most of the time in a personal conversation, maybe face-to-face, maybe on the phone, maybe on WhatsApp, or things of that nature, which is the same in my business, or probably in most service businesses, or where you're talking potentially about a lot of money. You just want to know who you are dealing with. So how important is that at the end of the day for an artist today? Or is it literally that you could say, with a social media account, probably primarily Instagram or LinkedIn, depending of the audience, is already enough, and then I only need a personal conversation, again on the phone or in person? Or what would be, what is your experience after a few years in the business now?
It can help, but it's about, if you're looking for a gallery and if you're starting out, forget it, because no gallery will take you on board, because you're a beginner and you don't bring the network with you. Most of the time, if you bring the network with you, you get galleries, you get art consultants, you get everything. But before you haven't built up your community, no one wants to work with you. So it's like there is no quick and easy way how to get into the market. So, and I think you should really focus on one channel. Like, okay, I really focus my time and energy on LinkedIn or maybe Instagram, and then I try to build up a community there. And if I'm managed to do that in a way that I have growth and I see I have more and more conversations, I can expand that, and maybe then I can reach out to other people that help me on my way, like art consultants or maybe a gallery. But first, you need to build something, and it's not like that consultants or gallery, they just discover you and then they put time and effort into you, and then you become a star and stuff like that. And this is more the old way, and people tell you, oh, if you're good enough, people will discover you and they do the work for you, and then your life turns out just to be fantastic. But this is, not, I think, under 1% of artists that get lucky like that. And it's really the old way. And most of the time, it's a collaboration between you and galleries. You both share your networks. And if you don't bring your own network, you can invite to physical exhibitions or something like that. You don't have that much value to the gallery as well. Most of the time, it's a collaboration between two parties.
I agree.
Okay.
I think that is certainly the case. I've never, well, I haven't had any work put in a gallery, but I haven't pursued a gallery exhibition, and I've never worked with an agent. And I suppose those are things that, maybe to a certain level, and the demand is at, you have that demand and you have the clientele. An agent makes sense, but I do think the gallery is one of the older ways of doing it. I know, not only know, but I've seen a lot of artists where it is just social media. Yes, they'll put something in a gallery from time to time, but their website and social media is it, and they amass ridiculous followings, support. They host their own shows. So I'm not necessarily aiming to be in a gallery. I want to do expos, of course, and things like that, but to, just have a piece there. And we don't necessarily have that culture here in Jamaica. We do have a few galleries, but the average Jamaican isn't getting up on a Saturday to say, hey, I want to do the gallery or the museum. We really don't have that culture, especially not in my age group. Really do that. So outside of shows and expos, we don't go for it. I don't think I've been to probably more one gallery here, which isn't necessarily good. I should expose myself to more, but it's not positioned in a way that makes it interesting or exciting. It's not feels fun. It feels very old, if I'm being honest. And this is not to discredit discredit, but it's just how a lot of the art community is or has been in Jamaica. For a while, it's kind of the older, more experienced persons putting out traditional pieces, and it's very like native, it's Jamaican scenery and Jamaican history, and it's I don't find it that interesting, and that's just me. To each their own. But if an artist is coming up, as Victoria said, the gallery probably won't look at you unless somehow you have this massive network behind you. Especially for a country like mine, you will have to demonstrate that your portfolio can bring people. Unless they're having like a thing and you're a standout artist, something like that. Just a regular feature, you need notoriety.
I have to say I'm a bit limited in time. I need to hop on the next call in 8 minutes. So
Okay.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. You're right. We're getting close to the 90 minutes mark. So yeah, is there any topic or any thoughts that you guys want to get in before we wrap it up? Then, because I think there were probably a lot of nuggets so far and a lot of things that future artists can avoid or can make use of. But are there anything that we didn't touch on so far, or anything to add?
Avoid. I don't know what you would necessarily avoid. Because coming from me, I do a lot of experimentation and I have no notions about it. But if I was to say to avoid something, it's hopping onto every trend because there will be trending art styles and trending topics, trending visuals. So that's what I would say to avoid. Just jumping trend to trend to trend to try to your brand. That's not that to me. That's not a brand. So I would say avoid trends if I should say anything. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, then let me just put one more time your guys' handle on the screen here. So yeah, if the audience or everybody listening or watching right now wants to know more about you guys, or yeah, wants to have a look on your art and actually wants to see how it looks like, where can people find you? What is the best way to reach out to you guys?
It's
Ladies
Instagram.
First.
Instagram is the easiest thing, or maybe my website. It's redoutside.com. So it's easier. The easiest way is Instagram.
And the same for me, Mr. Lewis or the friendly alien. Friendly alien art. If you type friendly alien art, then I should be right there. Yeah.
Perfect. And if you're watching this on YouTube, we will also put the links in the description down below so that you can easily find it there. All right. Yeah, that's it so far for today's live stream. Thanks again for you guys to taking the time, sharing your experience, your ups and downs. And everybody watching, if that was helpful to you, feel free to comment, share your thoughts, leave a thumbs up, give it a like, and all the social media stuff. And I hope to see you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.